Hi, Goddess of Awesome here, and it's late. It's today is the third whole day I've been home, and I actually went for my third horseback ride in 24 hours. It's about 10:30 or just after, and at night, you know, I'm definitely a night rider. So I wanted to speak a little bit about what happened just now, because I'm not going to want to say this tomorrow. You know, probably won't have time. So last night was the first night I went for a ride since I'd been home. That was Sunday. Today's Monday. So I went for a ride on Posy Girl last night. I also took Miss Posy out this morning. And just now I took out my gray mare, Lollipop. Lolly. But I like to call her Lollipop. So I'm going to share a little bit about what just happened. So first, I want to say about last night with Xena. You know, that was her first time being out for like a month, right? I've been gone for a while, you know, 27 days total. She and I spent, you know, 28, yeah, she's about 4 weeks, you know, that she has not been out on trail. Now, Xena's only started doing trail the beginning of January. Right? So she only had like 6 weeks of training with trail, and then I went away for 4 weeks, and now we're back into it. You know, and I kind of did anticipate her pulling a little bit on the leash last night. She knows not to pull. She knows what no pull means. She knows. And, you know, she hadn't been out in forever, so I can't fault her. You know, tonight she didn't pull whatsoever. You know, there's a nice slack release, a nice slack in the leash. You know, she wasn't trying to go anywhere, pull us along, you know. Xena's a really good girl when it comes time for anything horse, especially like if the horse decides to stop for a minute, you know. Sometimes if the horse goes potty, you know, they'll stop. You know, some people will make their horse continue to walk while they go number 2. You know, I let my horses stop, you know. I don't know. I could force them to keep going. I'm kind of a kind person, and I let them take their moment, you know. And Xena will stop. She'll wait right there, you know. So last night we came across a couple dogs, as we did today in the daytime ride. Now, anytime Xena sees something and she thinks she might, and, you know, if she seems excited about anything, I always make her sit. So, you know, and I did that when we were on the ground, working on the ground too, you know, with just 2 legs, me with my 2 legs on the floor. Anytime Xena, as a puppy, you know, needed to process life, take in something new, I would always put her on a sit. You know, that's kind of how her brain absorbs things. So last night, as well as this morning, you know, we passed a couple dogs. I put her on a mounted sit. You know, I'm mounted, and I'm still giving her command, and she does it, you know. One word I've borrowed from Hercules from my spin class. There's a lot of things I borrow from my spin class in general, but, you know, Hercules uses the word yes, and he even does this fist, yes, you know. That's very affirming, you know. When you hear that yes, you know, you know. So that's kind of it's matriculated towards what I use in my training with my dog, and I definitely use the word yes. You know, if she's on her way of doing it right, I tell her yes instead of keep telling her the command sit, sit, sit. If she's on her way to sit and maybe she's going a little slow because she's wondering about stuff, you know, I'll give her that affirmative yes, and then she'll sit down all the way. She knows, you know. So, we also seen a cat last night coming home, as well as today, this evening, leaving. We saw, I don't think it was the same cat, but, you know, again, with Xena's breed, this particular breed is known for impulse control. I don't think a lot of people know that. So Xena is very good at controlling her impulses if I encourage her to, you know. So she, you know, she's working. She's on a leash. She knows she's not supposed to pull me. You know, she doesn't have the okay to chase anything, you know. That's not cool, you know. So she, you know, last night coming home from the ride, when she seen the cat, she just You know, she noticed it. I could tell her gait shifted a little bit, but she wasn't pulling on the leash, you know, and she wasn't charging it. You know, she was going to yank me off my horse to go get the cat. You know, same thing with tonight when it was time to mount. I go down a house or a few, maybe 3 houses down. There's a wall that's kind of high that I can get up on, and I hate to mount from the floor. I can mount from the floor. I can absolutely do that, but I don't want to disturb the perfect placement of my saddle by mounting from the floor, you know, so I always use some kind of mounting block. So I used the wall down the way, and there was a cat. I mean, he was right there. Zena seen him, you know, she definitely caught her interest, you know, but it wasn't enough for her to pull me, you know, and have her drag me all around, you know, trying to, you know, get the cat abandoning what we're up to. No, Zena's on the job. She knows what's up. She knows what she's supposed to do. And on the wall mount, when I get up on the wall to mount, I make Zena get up on the wall too, you know, so that way the leash doesn't get tangled, you know, and I don't have any mishaps, you know. So Zena knows she's supposed to get up on the wall and wait there with me until I mount my horse. And then when I'm mounted, then it's time for her to jump down, and then she's on my left side, you know, and then we proceed. So we had a really good ride, a great ride, the most exhilarating ride just now. Now with Posy Girl, Posy is my sweet mellow babe. You know, I don't force Posy to do a lot of things. I probably could, you know, maybe some people would, you know. I kind of think Posy had a little bit of a tough spot somewhere. You know, she was imported from Ireland, and I don't know what the import process is like. I've heard that it's not necessarily the most gentle experience for some horses. So, you know, Posy is very precious. She's highly sensitive. She's probably the most sensitive horse I've ever worked with. You know, I almost need to tell her nothing. You know, my trainer had her trained to just, when you lift your energy, Posy would go forward. You know, and I try to keep doing that. You know, I just shift my energy to give Posy a command. And Posy is so sensitive and attentive. She listens, you know. These days, you know, Posy is a little kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? She's a little broken into the routine, you know, and she already knows what to do. You know, sometimes she tries to graze, and I'm not with that, you know. I had a horse before, my Blaze. I called her Blazy Girl. Blaze was a Tennessee walker. I had her for 10 years. Best horse ever. One of the best horses to walk the face of the earth was this mare, Blaze, you know. And Blaze also had a rough patch in her history. You know, Blaze was missing the first 2.5, 3 inches of her tongue. I didn't know that until it was time to get her teeth done. You know, when they float the teeth, it's like a dental procedure, right? They put this big mouth thing on, and they open the mouth, and they file down any sharp edges. You know, horses don't chew like this. They chew like this, right? It's like more like this, like a cow almost. So sometimes they can get some tight, you know, edges, sharp edges. And, you know, a lot of times they'll pull the tongue to the side so they can do that. Well, Blazy Girl didn't have any part of her tongue to pull to the side. That ripped my heart out when I seen that. And what a blessing. I had already put her in a bitless bridle, right? Something intuitively told me that that bit was far too harsh for her. They had her in a curb bit, and I had to have a blinking light in my head flashing, no curb bit for her. You know, I put her in a snaffle. It's supposed to be a little more gentle. I came across a bitless bridle, and that horse shifted like that. She turned into a completely different horse with no bit in her mouth. You know, why? Probably she was in pain. You know, somebody had probably sawed her mouth off, her tongue off with a curb bit. You know, if your horse is going fast and they're not listening, sometimes if, as a last resort, you might saw, you know, you might use your reins to do this, to almost saw at their mouth a little to get them to stop, you know. So probably somebody sawed her mouth, her tongue off. So with Blaze, I used to let her graze, right? Blaze got a lot of, we broke a lot of rules with Blaze. You know, she got to do things that most horses would take advantage of. You know, Blaze knew that, Blaze knew, right? She knew she hit it big when she came home with me. You know, probably was the most loving person she maybe have ever come across, aside from her breeder. Hopefully her breeder was a good person, you know. Anyways, getting back to tonight. I don't let my horses graze, you know. Posey's been trying to get away with that. I'm not happy about that at all. So, you know, I've had to discipline her a little bit. I don't like doing that. You know, I'm kind of very gentle. I don't want to use tough pressure or any kind of harshness with my horses. You know, less is more always, you know. So Lolly tried to do that a little tonight, but she listens a little better in that department than Posey. In general, Posey is my perfect ride. Posey doesn't protest, you know. Posey won't throw you a curveball at all, you know. Posey just does it, you know. She's a tried and true. I call her Posey the perfect, you know. She's so perfect. So that was last night. I went out on Posey, and this morning I went out on Posey. This morning I did not release Xena from the leash, right? It was daytime. I'm not going to be that, you know, I'm not going to be irresponsible horse person or pedestrian animal person out there with an unleashed dog when other people are out and about. That's why it's pushing probably 10:45 now, you know. At night, right? We're just about 11 o'clock at night. You know, I didn't saddle up until 8:30, you know, so it's probably a good 90-minute ride just now. And then I came home and I lunged my twins. They're not exactly twins, but kind of, you know, they're both tricolors. They're half sisters. They're gorgeous, and they got their workout in tonight too. So real quick, and then I'm going to end this. Lollipop, it was her first time out tonight, and Lolly is as cool as a cucumber, right? She just listens well. She loves going out with Xena. She's so much better on trail with a dog, you know. Lolly is kind of new to nature. She came from Wisconsin. She worked in an indoor arena. She slept in an indoor barn, you know. Nature was new for her. It's only been about a year, and she's come a long way. Lolly can sometimes protest, you know. Sometimes she'll double check with me. Are you sure you want to go down that trail? And she'll make a circle. Like, instead of going, just keep going, she'll circle, and she'll be like, are you know, in a way she's trying to turn home, but in a way she's testing me. Are you sure you want to keep going? Yes, honey, I'm sure. She didn't do any of that today. None of that. She didn't do any of that. And she does that less with a dog. You know, if I take her out alone, she might try that a little bit. If I take her out with Xena, like, not at all. Like, she has her buddy, so she's cool going down the trail. So it was dark, you know, obviously it's nighttime, and we got to a certain part of the trail, the non-coyote trail, right? More mountainy, a little more brush. And I unleashed Xena, let her go sniff out some stuff, let her check up on her rabbits, you know. And when I remounted Lolly, once we got past this certain point, I asked her to go a little faster, you know. It's time to trot or something. Well, Lolly is she's partly made of rocket fuel, you know. You almost wouldn't know it if you see the mellow side of her, because she's just a mosier when, you know, if that's what you want her to do. Asking her to go a little faster, and she hadn't been out in a month, you know. She was like, hell yeah, you know. And this is why I ride Lolly with a saddle. I take out Posey with no saddle. I prefer no saddle. I love to go bareback. Now with Posey, I use a bareback pad. My other horse, Tessa, I never put a bareback pad on her. I've recently become, I don't know, in the last little bit, maybe last year or two, sensitive to sweat and dirt. You know, I will get a rash or some kind of skin discomfort if I have sweat and dirt up against my skin for too long, you know. So I think when I was younger, maybe I didn't notice it, or maybe that wasn't so. As time happens, I feel a little more sensitive with that. So Posy's my no saddle girl, but I do use a bareback pad for keep that barrier from the sweat and dirt. Lolly, I absolutely have to have her in a saddle. You know, she, I think, is more comfortable in a saddle, and I definitely need a saddle on her because there's all these crazy unpredictable moments. And I'm not crazy, but fun and exhilarating unpredictable moments of bursts of high octane, you know, rocket fuel. You know, you got to be ready for it, and it can happen at any time, you know. So when I asked her to go a little faster, I anticipated we'd trot just a little bit, and then, you know, we'd go back to our walk. That's not what happened. So I asked Lolly to go a little faster. You know, I was anticipating a trot. Boom! She took off. I mean, just like a bat out of hell, you know, and so much power. You know, Lolly has comparable power to what I felt in my thoroughbred, right? Just a lot of strength and power. Boy, my thoroughbred was the strongest horse I ever come across. You know, she could, if you tied her to a hitching post and she didn't want to be there and she lifted her head up, she has pulled the stitching out of halters and bridles. I've seen them just come undone when the thoroughbred would lift her neck and be like, I'm out of here, you know? That's some powerful muscle. So Lolly, a lot of power, right? She definitely the equivalent of a rocket, you know? When she took off tonight, it was full force, you know, and she hasn't been out in a month, so she needed it, you know. I just went with it. So we went up the trail, we zoomed around the bend, and now we're going up the hill, and she's just a bump, you know, just on it. And Xena, we just left her in the dust, you know. I don't think Xena was expecting that. That's not usually a place we run. But Xena, just, you know, is always up for it. So boom, she's right there with us, you know. And at one point, she was even in front of us. Xena's fast, you know, she's a fast, great trail dog. So we got up to a certain, up the hill a little bit and kind of got flat for a second, and it's going to start going down. Now, I don't know what's going on with Lolly. I definitely need to revisit. She needs to go see Auntie Alex, you know, her fabulous trainer, who thank goodness is coming in July to come to Southern Cal. She's in Utah right now, so we'll get to address this hopefully. Lolly, in the last handful of months, she likes to go fast downhill. I don't know what the heck is going on with her brain, but she sees it downhill and she's like, yeah, and she wants to run down it. No, that is not, no, we don't run down hills. It's kind of dangerous, you know. They could definitely hurt themselves, not to mention the balance of your weight and going downhill and running. It's so much better to run uphill, right? Gravity is going in your favor when you're running uphill, you know. So the other thing Lolly will do, so I didn't let her run downhill, right? I have some tactics that, you know, I have to kind of keep her head sideways a little bit, and she'll almost sidestep going down the hill to try to keep her from going fast, you know. Lolly's a hunter jumper. Her mama, her previous mama, CJ, Carlene Jonas, she is from Wisconsin. She's a hunter jumper, right, for her whole life. And so Lolly was trained in hunter jumper, right? That's primarily what she was used for, hunter jumper and dressage, right? So Lolly does this thing where it's like a reverse jump. I don't know how to describe it other than a reverse jump. You know, when you jump, you're jumping up and over. Lolly will also jump down, right? If there's a big rock, and there was a big rock in our path, you know, she could have walked it or, you know, took it in a couple steps. No, she goes both feet, boom, and she'll jump it. But it's in a downhill slope, so it's really, I mean, talk about a cowgirl moment, you know, your whole front end just whop. It goes up and then it drops, you know, kind of big. So that was fun, you know. She's done it to that rock a few times, so it's, you know, I know what to expect, you know. She just likes that spot, you know. First time she ever did it in front of a spectator, there was another mounted person on a horse, and we had passed them. They were waiting for their friend, And Lolly just, boom, jumped down that rock, you know, and I heard the person watching, he was like, whoa, I'm like, yeah, it's kind of a whoa moment, you know, takes your breath away, definitely stirs you up a little bit, you know, makes you realize you're living when you have these incredible moments, you know, these sudden bursts of adrenaline. You know, it's an adrenaline ride the entire time when Lollipop is feeling her high octane rocket fuel. You know, I almost took her the whole trail and then turned around and ran her back the entire direction. She had so much piss and vinegar in her tonight, you know. It was super fun. I didn't want to spend a million years out on trail tonight as much as I would have loved to take her out for a 3-hour ride. She's so a 3-hour ride kind of horse, you know. She's an endurance horse. She wants to do it. She's got a buddy to go with. She's all down for it, you know. If there was light out, we could have went for a long time, you know. So that's Miss Lollipop. So at the end of this ride, there was a hill that starts getting steep, and then it kind of bends around, and then it drops down, and then boom, it spits you out into society, you know. So there's a piece of that trail that I'd never done, but we did it tonight, and it kind of loops you back around to the top of that hill. So we ran up the hill, right, and she was, okay, sometimes when she runs, she will release a little buck. You know, it's not like a big buck that she's trying to throw you or anything. It's a feel-good buck. You know, it's just a little kick. You know, maybe she'll lift her shoulders and then spring the rest with her hind legs, you know. It's astonishing to me how powerful and strong she is and how much gusto this horse has. Here we are running up this steep hill, and she decides she's going to give me one of those little rolling, almost like a rolling earthquake feeling, a little buck, you know, in the middle of all that. That was pretty fun. It was really fun. So I could tell, you know, this horse she's barely getting warmed up, you know. She's got a lot more of this rocket fuel, you know, to spend right now. So we got up the hill, we went around the bend, we ran a little bit more, and now it's time to go down the hill. Or we could have made a big circle and did it again, and that's what we did. We did the big circle. You know, Xena had been wanting to try that trail for, gosh, a while. She keeps sniffing it up. I could tell it only does a circle. I've seen it, I could tell from one end to the other. It's kind of big, but, you know, not that big. So we did the circle. And then boom, we're right at a new spot, at the top of the hill where we can run again. So I decided to run her again. And in that moment, you know, she did release the rest of her rocket fuel, but I could tell she was starting to, you know, some of her zest was starting to fizz out, right? She spent it, you know, she spent what she needed to release, you know. So that was great. That was good for me. That was good for her, you know. That was great for Xena, you know. And I felt good leaving the mountain at that point. I didn't want to take her home without letting her get what she needed, you know. I mean, I'm a workout freak. I knew how important it is to get your good flow going. So, you know, Lollipop got her good flow flowing tonight. She released a lot of her rocket fuel. You know, I'm the fortunate soul who got to ride that out, you know, and boy, Lolly. So she's such a blessing to my life. I'm going to have to do a whole nother video on just Lolly and how she manifested into my life. She's actually a miracle. She's a true miracle child for me, a miracle horse. I am so lucky to have her. The timing worked out. It was complete serendipity. It just happened to work, you know. I don't know. I'll have to tell you more about Lolly's appearance, how she appeared into my life in another video, maybe tomorrow. So after she spent all her rocket fuel, I could tell, right? So now it's time to go back into society. You know, we have railed trails alongside our sidewalks. There's obviously the street that people drive on. There's a cement sidewalk people can walk on. But then we also have a railed dirt path for the equestrians. I live in a crazy, amazing neighborhood, you know? So we're starting to go down this hill, and it's gonna spit us out into a neighborhood, you know? Last night I did this ride with Posey, and once we got down so far and we're almost to the point where the cement and everything is starting to come in, I called Xena and she came right to me, right? So I could leash her. Tonight, this evening, with Lollipop, we went down the hill and it was getting about that spot where I normally would call Xena back. She's such a freaking good dog. I never had to say a word. I never spoke her name. I never said anything, because right at the time when I would have called her back, Xena, on her own accord, right, on her own knowing, on her own decision, she decided to turn around and come back towards me because she knew it was time for me to dismount and collect her, right? Put her leash back on and finish the rest of the ride with her being leashed, you know? So she returned to me without me even asking for her to, because she knew that was time. That's the spot, that's what we do there, and that's what she did. Isn't that great? I tell you, this dog, man, she keeps blowing my mind, you know? Like, we just started doing this, right? It's only March. You know, I haven't been with her for a month because I was out and about, and she really just has 6 weeks of this under her belt, you know? But boy, 6 months of this, a year, a couple of years of this, wow, you know? She's like the most perfect dog. She learns so fast. She gets it. She's so obedient. She's sharp. She can anticipate what's going to happen next because she knows the drill. She knows the routine. She's with it. You know, she's all about doing what we're supposed to do. She wants to do the routine, you know. So I remounted. There's a nice little wall I can remount fairly easy. And it was a snap. I'm back up on my horse. I got Xena on her leash. We finished the rest of the ride. And it was just flawless, right? Completely relaxed on the leash. I mean, she was already relaxed on the leash when we left, but after those bursts of running, you know, Xena's got to keep up. Lollipop is fast, you know? Fast. You can hear the earth rumble underneath her feet, you know? The first time I ever ran on Lollipop, and then I'll close this video, it was a straightaway on one of those railed paths, you know. I never really opened her up yet, you know, on trail. And that particular day, I could feel as we were crossing the street, you know, almost getting into the next path, I could tell she was ready. You know, she really wanted to go, you know. And that particular day, I had a lot of, there's a lot of static I had, you know. I had some probably frustrations, maybe some disappointment, probably some emotional strain, some feeling taxed, you know, for various reasons. And I just honestly really needed that ride that day. So when Lollipop wanted to go, I was like, what the hell, let me open this horse up, you know, let me see what she's made of. When she took off, it was like a bat out of hell again, you know, the rocket, like a freaking rocket, you know. And it was a lot of power and a lot of force. Boy, this horse is strong and fast, and that could be intimidating for people, right? It could be intimidating for anybody, even the best rider. So here I am on her, and she's just barreling down this path as fast as can be, and I wasn't sure if she was going to listen to anything that I told her, so I kind of collected her a little bit. And she totally brought it down, right? She collected so fast, you know? And once I collected her a smidge, and I could tell how receptive she was to cues, and she was gonna listen, well, then I just let her have her head, right? I just gave her the reins, basically, and I was like, just go for it. You know, we had a long straightaway, and that horse, she She went for it in a way that I hadn't been on a horse like that in a long time. I actually felt my aura change colors. The wind and how fast she was going, the high octane that she was spending, you know, shifted the energy field, that shifted my energy field, right? I could feel any ickiness in my aura just blow right out of me with this wind that she was creating from going so fast. You know, I actually felt my wings sprout and change colors from rawr to whoa, you know. That was a miraculous, you know. So one thing I want to say really quick, and then I'm going to say goodnight, is that horses are healing. Horses are so healing for me. Everything about a horse makes sense to me. I resonate with them so much. They are my mental clarity. You know, they are my emotional wellness. You know, they balance me. They bring me into alignment. You know, they are my peace deep down inside my heart. They are my adrenaline release. They are my endorphin high. They are all that and a bag of chips, you know. Like, the joy a horse can bring is immeasurable, and I have never come across anything more exhilarating and balancing and healing all in one, you know, all in one. Like, there's modalities of healing that are very balancing and centering, but that exhilaration, you know, that stirs you up, shakes all your, I don't know how to describe it, you know, I can just feel things flicker off of me, fall off of me, like expel permanently from my energy field when I'm kicking it with my horses, you know, especially the kind of ride that just happened tonight, you know. And Posey being so mellow, I mean, I get that. There's a whole nother different kind of balancing that happens when I can mentally check out and float on my horse's back. And that's what me and Posey do a lot. We float, you know. And Lolly and I float. There's a lot of floaty moments with Lollipop. There's also, you got to be ready for that rocket fuel should the moment happen. You know, you can really foresee those moments. You just, when they happen, you got to be ready for them, you know. So I'm so thankful and grateful to have Rosewater Chamomile, aka Lollipop, in my barn. I have a Rosewater Chamomile Lollipop. Doesn't that sound delicious? She's so yummy. It's the yummiest thing ever. She was bred by Rosewater Farms in Wisconsin. Rosewater Chamomile, that's their baby, and she's my baby too. I'm her forever home. All my horses, I'm their forever home, you know. So anyways, I just wanted to share that with you. You know, Xena came home and she is bright-eyed. You know, every trail ride we do improves her brain. Now, Xena has a great brain. She's already a great dog, you know. There's all these wonderful traits she has, so willing, you know, so perceptive, so an exceptional listener, you know. She gets it the first time. Every time we do a trail, something improves in her, you know. Her awarenesses, her sense of self, you know. It's like Xena learns about herself every time we go out on a trail ride, and it's evident in her eyes. You can see the clarity and the brightness, and she's smiling with her eyes, you know. Such a happy dog. She actually gives me 10. She's I've been trying to give her a word. Give me 10, because she does it already. She jumps up and she wants to hit my hands with her 2 feet, you know. She's so athletic, and she's just such a damn good dog, you know. That's what I call her. That's one of her nicknames. She really is, you know. So I'm going to end it there. There's a lot more I could say about Miss Lollipop and Posy Girl, absolutely, you know, and Xena. I did spend some time with my tricolors, you know, my twin sisters, they're half sisters, but they're practically twins, you know. They're going to be my driving team. They were lunged. I lunged them tonight, and they both got to kick up their heels and get their blood flowing and going, and I give everybody loves and hugs and kisses, and, you know, it was a really good day overall. I didn't get to upload any videos for you. I wanted to, but I had to pick and choose how I'm going to spend my time, you know. So I'm going to upload hopefully a lot tomorrow for you and try to get my morning ride done quicker than I got it done today to free up some of that time and space. But okay, so I'm going to go to bed now. Thank you so much for being here with me today. If you like this video at all, please give it a thumbs up. If you want to know more, please subscribe. And in the meantime, bright blessings and be well.